Week 6, it should be better. If it's not, oh my god, if it's not better. It is going to be a long week for me if it is not better. Hey there, peeps. Detective Boo Boo here, and I am suffering through being a K-State and Chiefs fan right now because both of them lost in heartbreaking ways that is incredibly painful. But hopefully this will be a bounce back week for both teams. It's not going to be easy for either one. And my overall, and in terms of predictions, yeah, that could have been a lot better. 7-7 on the week. Yikes. Uh, it was an upset-filled week, to be fair, and a lot of people were struggling a little bit. But, ugh, it's just not a great. It was not a great week for me overall, and I am slightly ashamed, even though it is predictions and just for fun. I'm no expert in this whatsoever. And I'm hoping that maybe stuff will be better soon. But for right now, I gotta be able to hold my ground with some stuff because I did actually get some things right. This game, right off the bat, the Rams choking in probably one of the worst ways possible. The Vikings barely holding off the Browns. It was a near upset in this upset-filled week. They managed to be one of the few teams to avoid something like that this week. The Saints, I called this one. I thought the Saints were going to be a bit better at home, and they absolutely were. And the Giants, after they beat the Chargers in Week 4, kind of came back down to earth a little bit in Week 5. So there's that. The Panthers hold off the Dolphins in Week 7. And you just wonder how long Mike McDaniel's going to keep his job at Miami. And the Panthers, they looked fine. Nothing spectacular. So honestly, you can't really be complaining much. The Colts demolished the Raiders. I thought the Colts were going to be put away the Raiders at some point. Not that early though. 40-6. It is slightly ashamed. Yes, it is just. You just wonder how. I believe in the Colts this year. They're going to be a really, really good team. The Eagles, man, they let me down this week. They allowed 18 unanswered points, all in the fourth quarter to blow this game, 21-17. The Jets, I thought the Cowboys were going to do what the Cowboys did, but it doesn't look like they are, which is very interesting. The Jets now remain the only winless team in the year. This game I thought was going to be a lot closer. I did correctly predict the Texans. I did not even imagine how badly they were going to demolish Baltimore. Man, the Ravens just look lifeless without their defense and without Jackson. The Buccaneers needed another clutch comeback from Baker Mayfield and the offense to pick up the win. But hey, you'll take him whenever you can get him. And the Bucs sitting at 4-1, tied among the three other division leaders in the NFC for tops in the conference. The Cardinals, similar to the Eagles, they blew a 16-point lead in the fourth quarter and lost to probably one of the worst teams in the entire league, if not the worst. The Commanders pick up a win against the Chargers, and yeah, Jaden Daniels returned, and he put on a bit of a show against the Chargers. And you just wonder how long are the Chargers going to be able to keep this up. And, yeah. The Lions, I thought they were going to blow them out by more. But props to the Bengals for putting up 24 against the Lions D. But that is, 4 straight weeks the Lions have put up 30 or more points? Yeesh. Take the Lions seriously, man. The Bills got upset by the Patriots. I thought this could have been potential for an upset game, but I went Bills anyway. The Patriots, man, they look for real. they might actually be contending with Buffalo for the AFC East this year, which is going to be a lot more exciting than just the domination Buffalo put up last year in the division. And then finally, the Chiefs just barely couldn't. They lost in heartbreaking fashion. The defense came down to penalties in the defense, and I don't even know how Jacksonville managed to get that final drive, especially the final play on their offensive side. Man, that's just a tough way to lose. I knew Jacksonville was going to be a tough team going into this game, but man, Jacksonville might really be one of the best teams in the AFC this year. Take him for take him as much as you can get. Honestly, I think the only thing that went well for me was fantasy, but honestly, that does not really count in the grand scheme of things. But hey, we're looking to get back on track. I went 7-7 in week 5, putting me. It was upset filled week, but that's not really much of an excuse these days. Um, but that brings me up to 49-28 on the year, so I'm a little short of 50 wins. Probably get that this week, unless I somehow go win this, which I'll be incredibly embarrassed if I do. But yeah, we're looking to get things back on track this week, and hopefully a better week for the Chiefs. Sunday play on primetime this week, so we'll see. But right now, we're going to start off week 6. We got 15 games this week, only 2 teams on the bye. It's going to be a fun week. And let's get things started with our Thursday night football game tomorrow night at 7:15 p.m. Central Time, 8:15 local time for these two teams. You got the Philadelphia Eagles sitting at 4-1, taking on the New York Giants at 1-4. The Eagles, they were one of the 2 teams that blew gigantic leads in the fourth quarter to their opponent at home. And yeah, you just wonder how long that the Eagles are going to keep getting away with these one-score wins. And last week proved that they can't get away with every one of them. And I heard a little rumor. Is that offensive line getting hurt? Eagles, tell me where you've heard this one before. And yes, hear it from me. You need an offensive line. Because otherwise, Jalen Hurts is going to get killed in the backfield. Barkley also not putting up the numbers that many people expected him to, which is kind of surprising on the year. You think he'd take a little bit of a step forward even after the his spectacular year last year, but yeah, and you just wonder how long that Eagles O-line is going to be holding up, especially with the Giants coming into town, which they don't have a bad defense either. And I called it last week. The Giants were going to have take a massive step back, losing to the Saints, and the Giants. You just wonder how legit they are this year, because this is kind of the week where you can kind of determine is Jackson Dart going to be that much better this year than Russell Wilson, and if not, when do you switch back, and so on and so forth. Scatterboo, though, also making a little bit of noise. Hopefully they can get the rushing game going against the Eagles, which I'm not sure how their stats are looking in terms of rushing D, but that defense is still pretty damn strong, even for kind of getting caught up in a few really, really bad halves and quarters. So the Giants, though, they really need a bounce back week a little bit if they want to have any confidence in Jackson Dart. And the Eagles need a bounce back week if the people are really going to take them seriously this year, because blowing a lead to the Broncos, sure, you went up against a really, really good defense. You can understand getting like 17 points out of that. But against the Giants, that defense may be good, but they're not that great. So you expect them to get a little more. It's a Thursday night primetime game. It's the 3rd straight week, I believe, where we have a divisional matchup as the Thursday night game, which I'm glad that the league did that this year, because these divisional games so far have been looking pretty damn good, and the Eagles really need to get they really need to get the mojo back up, and I think this is the perfect week to do so. And I'm going to go with the Eagles. If that offense can, if that O line can be well enough to protect Jalen Hurts and anything going on in the rushing game, the Eagles can light up the Giants' defense. But if the O line is too hurt and Jalen Hurts starts getting killed back there, this might be a long night for the Philadelphia offense. As for the other side of the ball, the Giants probably need to, with still missing Malik Neighbors, so you're going to have to rely on the rushing game a little more. And you just wonder how long that's going to hold up. I expect this to be a lower scoring game, and yeah, Eagles, if you lose this one, watch out, because Dallas and Washington are right behind you, believe it or not. And the Commanders you kind of expect, but the Cowboys, they might be hunting you down later on in the season. And now we got, I believe, a second London game this week, or second London game this season, and it's gonna come in the form of the Denver Broncos taking on the New York Jets. Alright. It's in Tottenham. It's not in London this week. So, the Broncos picked up a massive victory over the Philadelphia Eagles in week 5. And, yeah, comebacks, man. If Bo Nix can put together 4 whole quarters of football, this team is dangerous because that defense is already looking so elite. And yeah, it's just going to be a really, really successful season for the Broncos if they can get things rolling. And with the Chiefs sitting at 2-3, and the Broncos now tied with the Chargers now falling apart, this is Denver's perfect opportunity to take hold of the division and really start to prove that they are legit this year, and they have been taking steps forward. Meanwhile, for the Jets, they're just looking for their first win of the year. They did not look good against Dallas at all, and you just wonder how long is the Aaron Glenn going to be able to stay at his job, because he's supposed to be a defensive mastermind, yet the Jets defense just, who usually look really, really good, had just looked god awful these past few weeks. And if Denver's offense keeps rolling like it is, that defense is not going to have anything remotely better this week. If the Jets are to win this game, they have to play. They have to really, really hold down that offense for the Broncos, because I don't expect a lot of points to be scored by the Jets offense, going up against one of the best defenses in the entire league. So, will I think they do that? Not even remotely. I think the Broncos do take this game early, and I think they'll. And I'm sorry to the people of England for this game, and hey, at least you got a good one last weekend with the Vikings and Browns, surprisingly. So, yeah, we'll see how this week goes for them. Next up, we start with the noon slate. Starting off, we got the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Indianapolis Colts in Lucas Oil Stadium. The Cardinals, oh man, blowing a 16-point lead in the fourth quarter. What are you doing? The Cardinals losing to the worst team in the league potentially this year, and now you just wonder how long is the Kyler Murray era gonna last? And this might be it for him if the Cardinals just cannot get anything rolling this week. And as for they went from taking on probably the worst team in the league to taking on probably one of the best, the Colts. Man, Daniel Jones' revival season is one to be studied, and he has essentially placed himself as this year's Sam Darnold story. The Colts just look so good on all sides of the ball, and man, Jonathan Taylor's also having a spectacular year with his rushing yards as well. So everything's clicking for Indy, nothing's clicking for Arizona. They're on a 3-game losing streak. Indy has won 4 of its first 5, and I expect that to continue this week. the Colts take this one pretty damn easily. The Cardinals still trying to figure out what they're going to do on offense. They're still missing James Conner, who's obviously out for the year. And yeah, it's just not looking pretty for the Cardinals right now. And for the Colts, everything's going their way. If they lose this game, though, watch out, because Jacksonville's right behind you. And now you're in a really, really competitive race, which I don't think anyone... I think everyone expected Houston to run away with the division. But now it's a two-way horse race between the Colts and the Jags, so... Indy's got to be able to keep up with Jacksonville. I think they do so this week. All right, and next up, we got the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Miami Dolphins. And things have looked really, really bad for both teams. Starting off with the Chargers, another injury for the Chargers this week. I forgot who it is. They lost Joe in week 4 to the Giants, and yeah, it really, really showed against the Commanders last week. Omarion Hampton also on the IR this week. Oh boy, it was an ankle injury as well. So yeah, the injuries are starting to pile up in LA, and that miraculous 3-0 start, despite the Chargers being still above 500, just looking like a lifetime ago right now. Meanwhile, for the Dolphins, they sit at 1-4. They got upset by the Panthers in Carolina last week, 24-27, and it's just looking really, really poor for the Dolphins this year. You can't really take them seriously anymore, and while the Chargers do have injuries on their side, the Dolphins just look so defeated and so just so bad this year. I gotta go with the Chargers. I don't expect the injuries to really hurt the Chargers that much, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins somehow sneak away with one this week. And honestly, if the Chargers can't recover soon, they may be another year of just charging it all up. That miraculous 3-0 start. Yikes. Next up, we got the 1-4 Cleveland Browns taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, it looks like it's going to be rookie QBs going forward, as the Browns traded away Joe Flacco this past week, and it's going to be Gabriel or Sanders going forward. Gabriel is going to get the start again against the Steelers, and the Browns still trying to figure things out. I get, a washed-up Joe Flacco was really starting to hinder you a little bit, but there's still so many more problems other than the QB position that this one might not even be close. Meanwhile, the Steelers, they had a spectacular bye week. They watched each of their other three AFC North Division rivals fall, and yeah. Their last game was against the Vikings in Ireland, where they barely escaped with one, but they recovered after the bye week. They after getting back from London, and I expect from Dublin, not London, and I expect the Steelers to be fresh, ready to go, ready to take this division by storm, and I expect the Steelers to walk away with a massive victory. But again, it would not surprise me if the Browns somehow manage to pull this game out of their asses and just somehow win this one. Because while the Steelers look like the best team in the AFC North, they still haven't really proven to me that they are much of a powerhouse. They've gotten close wins, lucky wins, and they got to do a little more to prove to me that they're legit. I think they're good, but I don't know if they're legit quite yet. But I am going to go with Pittsburgh this week. This is one of the easier games on their schedule. Next up, we got the Dallas Cowboys sitting at 2-1. I still hate that tie. Going against the Carolina Panthers sitting at 2-3. The Cowboys, they completely surprised me. I thought they were going to completely cowboy it and lose to the Jets. But man, that offense has actually looked really, really good despite CeeDee Lamb being absent these past 2 weeks. And if the Dallas Cowboys can keep this up, they can they might actually be one of the dark horse teams in the NFC this year. And they have a really good chance to make this two wins in a row, taking on the Carolina Panthers, who beat the Dolphins last week. And honestly, it's a good win, but I don't know about good, but it was a win that was necessary to keep Bryce Young any potential chance of um, any chance of Bryce Young staying in the starting slot for now alive. It was enough, but I don't know how much you're really gonna trust in Bryce Young anymore. He had a pretty decent game. Nearly completed nearly 2/3 of his passes, 2 touchdowns, a pick, and nearly 200 yards of offense for Bryce Young, which is a good outing for him last week. One that he really needed. And he has a chance to light things up against the Cowboys defense, which still has not really looked great. The Cowboys look like they have a great offense and a quietly great season so far from the running back Javonte Williams, but the defense still looks really bad in so many ways. And if Bryce Young can keep this momentum up, they have a shot at beating Dallas. Will they though? I don't think so. I gotta go with Dallas here. I think they're riding on a high momentum ever since the Packers game, and I think they were trying to tell us in week 1 they're not gonna be as bad as people think, and I think it does continue. I think they're gonna go up to above 500 this week. I think they're gonna get the win against Carolina, but Dallas, don't let this week be the week where you cowboy it, man. Next up, this is gonna be a good one. We got the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Both of these teams have really been proving me wrong so far this season. The Seahawks, despite losing to the Buccaneers by blowing a lead again, it just looks like the Seahawks team is more battle ready than I completely expected. The Seahawks still sitting pretty at 3-2, and they're still well in the race for the NFC West title. Meanwhile, the Jaguars, oh my goodness, that's 2 massive wins in a row for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Taking down my Kansas City Chiefs last weekend. Trevor Lawrence, man, also had a spectacular rushing touchdown at the end of the game. And yeah, the Jags, they just look for real. Everything's clicking, especially on offense for this team. And that defense still is probably actually I believe they are the highest scoring defense in the league right now. And they've committed the most turnovers, I believe, as well. So yeah, that defense looks really damn good. The Jacksonville Jaguars just clicking on all fronts. And I think they are going to continue to ride that high and win this game, especially in Duval County. I like the Seahawks now. I really do. But the Jags, man, there's something about them this year. Like, after that miserable 4-13 season, they already matched their win total from last year. And I expect them to continue to ride that high. And especially if that defense can get turnovers out of not Geno Smith. I'm thinking of the old Seahawks. Out of Sam Darnold, who has proven to have really bad games despite having great seasons. I think this could easily be Jacksonville's game. But hey, I think this is going to be a really good game. I expect this to be a bit higher scoring than people think. So, I'm going Jags on this one. Next up, oh boy. We got the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Baltimore Ravens. The Rams. Oh my god. Why would you try to go for it in the overtime period? On 4th and like one? They didn't get it, and that's how the Niners ended up winning the game. And yeah, I'm not sure what the Rams were thinking. I think they also didn't want to tie either. So if that's the reason, then I give them more props. But still, you at least go for the tie. You could probably hold them on defense and maybe have time to get a game winner. But no, the Rams completely blew it on with on fourth down. But still, they looked pretty decent despite all that. I don't know how good the Niners are, especially with a bunch of their injuries so far. But the Rams still, I would not be freaking out if I'm a Rams fan. It's still a long season ahead of us, and they still are sitting at 3-2. They could easily be 5-0, sure, but the Rams just had a couple of bad bounces go their way. So I think, or go against them. So I think the Rams are truly legit this year. I didn't expect them to be this good, but hey, if you can prove me wrong, then I give you complete props. Meanwhile, the Ravens, they're proving me wrong in the worst way possible. Even with the injuries and to Jackson and the defense, I expected Baltimore to at least put up some sort of fight against the Texans, who were also struggling to really get anything going for them. But nope, they just completely looked lifeless in that game against Houston. And yeah, it's just not a great look overall for the Baltimore Ravens going into the season. They kind of remind me of the Bengals a little bit, also lifeless. Also, hello Barry. But yeah, the Ravens. It's hard to really see them moving forward after all this. I'm not sure how long Jackson's gonna be out for still. Last I checked, he was a day to day. But getting Jackson back would be huge. I think he did miss practice this week. So expect him to be doubtful for this upcoming game. So yeah, especially if Jackson isn't ready to go for this game, I gotta go LA. Even if he is, I would go with the Rams anyway, just because they looked that good, even in the losses. And I think the Ravens just have not really put anything together this season. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, because a 1-5 start, you're already demoralized as it is. If Baltimore goes to 1-5, man, it might be over for the Ravens. Next up on the slate, though, we got another noon clash between the New England Patriots and the New Orleans Saints. The Patriots, a massive victory to take down the last unbeaten teams left standing going into the Sunday night game. And the Patriots just looked good on all aspects of it, too. It was just a really, really, really hard-fought victory for the Patriots. And this team looks like they might be for real to contend with the Bills for the division this year. I expected the Patriots to be good. I didn't expect them to be putting up upsets like this. I thought they were going to take a little more time to get ready, but man, a head coaching change was massive for the Patriots. And yeah, Stephon Diggs got revenge on his old team as well. Everything was going right for New England. As for the Saints, they also got on the win in the win column last week as they took down the New York Giants with their rookie QB, Jackson Dart. Spencer Rattler gets his first victory as an NFL starter. So props to him. Congratulations. It's always good to get your first victory. Will I think this will continue? Probably not. The Giants, I'm not sure how they look, and the Saints just have not always put together 4 good quarters of quality football. But hey, the Saints look kind of fun to watch, at least for the most, as long as they're at home, apparently. As for this game, I think this will be a bit closer than people expect. I think this could be like a 10 to 17, like a 10 to 15 point victory for the Patriots. I expect the Saints to put up some sort of fight, but I do think New England gets a massive win here, and this would be huge, especially if the Bills lose, because if the Bills lose and the Patriots win this game, they're suddenly in first in the AFC East. isn't that exciting to think about, Patriots fans? But I do expect the Patriots to walk away with this one, just even if the Bills win on Monday. Um, I don't. I think it's gonna be coming down to like certain things. I think if the offense can get rolling, especially early on again, I think the Patriots could run away with this one. But something tells me it's gonna be a bit closer of a game. Next up, we are starting the 305 slates. We got the Tennessee Titans taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. This game. Both of these teams look miserable, but at least the Titans got something going last week. The Titans pulling off a 16-point comeback victory against the Cardinals to get their first win of the year. Cam Ward gets his first victory as an NFL starter, which is huge for his confidence. And hey, maybe there might be something to pick up on going into this game against the Raiders, who have just looked lifeless since their Week 1 victory against the Patriots. Gentry got rolling again a little bit, but it was not nearly enough. That defense just looks outright awful. Geno Smith not looking great at all, and you're just wondering if any of these acquisitions really made a difference for the Raiders this year. Last year they were awful. This year they also look awful, and you just wonder, is this team going to be worse? And if that's the case, the Raiders fans might be freaking out a little bit, because especially since I expected them to at least be a bit more competitive in these games, but getting slacked 40-6, that's ugly. That's really ugly. But this will be an interesting game from start to finish, though. If the Titans can get Geno to turn over the ball, that's their key to victory. If the Raiders can get the ball rolling with Ashton Jeanty, and if Geno can limit the turnovers, I think the Raiders could walk away with this one. And especially if that defense can get to Cam Ward a lot this game, I think the Raiders could somehow sneak away with a victory. I am gonna go with the Titans, though. I might regret this, but I am going to go Tennessee on this one. I think the Titans do, they may look awful, but I think they are going to get enough to get the victory here. I think this might be their last week that they probably win for a good while. But hey, if that's the case, enjoy it while it lasts, Tennessee, because it's not going to be very long before reality hits again and you're suddenly losing 5 straight games. And for the Raiders, please get this shit figured out. Now we got the 325 games. We got 2 of them. We got, first up, the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Niners. Resilience, man. Kyle Shanahan for Coach of the Year right now. Despite the injuries, like to their offense, to Nick Bosa, to George Kittle, to Brock Purdy. The Niners are sitting at 4-1 right now. Tied with 3 other teams for tops in the NFC. And man, is it a good time to be a Niners fan right now. They're taking on one of their other teams that are tied for first in the NFC, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield is clutch. Without Mike Evans, this man carries his team on his back again for a comeback victory in Seattle. Man, do not doubt Baker Mayfield. This man, ever since he came to Tampa Bay, completely revived his career. And right now, the Bucs have a massive chance just to go up first, take sole possession of the 1 seed right now in the NFC. And man, this is going to be a massive game for both teams, especially if they win their divisions at the end of the year. I think it is a tough call, but I am going to go with the Bucs. I think longevity is going to be a long thing. I think eventually the injuries are going to catch up to the Niners a little bit, but I do like the Bucs. So I do like the Niners still, but I love the Bucs. I love Tampa Bay, and I really do think they're going to be a serious threat to the conference this year. And I think this is going to be a massive victory for the Buccaneers, and I think it's going to be quite the thrill to watch. All right, next up, we got the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Green Bay Packers. Oh, the Bengals. They're gonna roll with Joe Flacco this week. Yep, that's the team the Browns traded Flacco to. The Bengals, after the Jake Browning experiment, I'm glad they moved on from him, but I don't know about taking Joe Burrow. You had Kirk Cousins at least, but again, I guess his contract was pretty damn expensive, so I guess that's why you didn't take him. But still, this is a bit of desperation, don't you think, Cincinnati? The Bengals, nothing has really gone well for them. They did look the best in their losses last week to the Lions, but still, nothing has been going right for Cincinnati since Joe Burrow's turf toe injury, and you just wonder how long they're going to be able to stay somewhat relevant this year. And Green Bay, they come up a massively important bye last week, as they tied with the Cowboys. I still don't get how that happens. Parsons got 1 sack on Prescott for 0 yards. So, and it just, and you just wonder if the Packers kind of lost it a little bit. But the Packers, they do get a chance at a bounce back. If they lose to Joe Flacco this week though, and loses to him twice twice in 4 weeks, this team might be frauds. But right now, I am gonna go Green Bay. They need a massively important bounce back game this week, and they got it with Cincinnati. And I think the Packers, they got the bye. They're gonna get their injuries resolved. I think the Packers' offense is going to be a bit too much, and that defense is still ferocious. I think they had 1 bad week against Dallas. I guess a pretty damn good offense in Dallas, too. And I think the Packers' D is going to look really good this week. I don't think Flacco is going to be able to do what Cincinnati hopes he can, and I think the Packers could easily run away with this one. All right, we got the Sunday night game now. At 7:20 Central Standard Time on Sunday Night Football, you got the Detroit Lions taking on the heart of America, the Kansas City Chiefs. The Lions, they just look really good, and everyone expected them to, even after the Week 1 collapse against Green Bay. The Lions just look really damn good. That offense is rolling for them. The defense did take a hit last week, allowing Jake Browning to put up 22 points on him. But the Lions just still looked really good. And it's going to be hard to slow this team down. Meanwhile, for the Chiefs, I don't want to talk about it much. The Chiefs, a defensive collapse after having a 14-0 lead in the second quarter, plus a bunch of penalties, especially on special teams, really hurt Kansas City in the end. I think they could get this resolved. This is their last week without Rashee Rice. He's going to come back next week because this is his final week of suspension. And it's going to be huge to get him back. I think the offense still looks pretty damn good, even though they didn't put up 30 like they did in week 4. The Chiefs, I think they need to get stuff resolved on defense. That's uncharacteristic of the defense to just collapse like they did. And special teams, they need to get the penalties sorted out. They took 12, I think, in total for the team last week. 12 fouls last week. And it really hurt the Chiefs in the end. They did get away with a PI call, I am aware. But still, the Chiefs cannot be blowing any kind of advantages they can get from the referee mistakes to the defensive mistakes. You can't afford any of them. And Mahomes, man, uncharacteristic pick 6 as well. Ugh. It was not a good week for me as a Chiefs fan. But hopefully this week will be better. They're back at home. They got a really tough opponent against Detroit, who are nowhere near like the Ravens were. and they're going to be much closer to how the Eagles were. And this could be a game where Kansas City loses. I really do think so. But I think also is what's important. This late in the season, the Chiefs cannot go 2 games under 500. They really cannot afford to. As for the Lions, I think their high has to end at some point. I know every week I've picked Kansas City, and 3 times it's come back to haunt me. But I am gonna go with the Chiefs this week. I think the importance of knowing that this game is really, really important to them is gonna really, really shake things up. I think if the Chiefs can get the offense rolling, if they can rely on Pacheco and Hunt to really, really run the ball and get their mojo back, like on track, I think the Chiefs have a pretty damn good shot at winning this game. Even if the defense collapses again a little bit, I think the defense can recover enough to where they'll hold Detroit on massive plays. I think this team's really good, and I think they're going to prove that this week. Please do not doubt Kansas City right now. And I know I said at the beginning I don't doubt on Detroit either, but sometimes not everything is going to go the way of the Lions. And then this week we got 2 Monday night games. We got the first game at 6:15 Central Standard Time. It's between the Buffalo Bills taking on the Atlanta Falcons. The Bills they lost to the Patriots. The Patriots are a really good team. I really do think so. But I think the Bills really, really were hurting a little bit. I think they were running on a little bit of a high. I think they'd come back down to earth a little bit. I think the Bills could easily get back on track, especially taking on the Falcons. Yes, they had the bye after their massive victory against Washington, but you just wonder. I think this Atlanta team could easily beat the Bills, but then lose to the Jets. You just really never know with the Falcons. It's like gambling a little bit on the Falcons, like a crapshoot. Just because you never know what you're gonna get out of Penix or Cousins. You can either have a really, really good game from the Falcons where they are just dominating you on every front, or you could have what they showed against the Panthers. I think this could easily be the Bills' game to lose. If the Bills can get back on track like they usually do, I think they can easily take this game, and that's what I'm predicting. But if they lose 2 straight games, New England's sitting right there, and they have the tiebreaker right now. This is a massive game for the Bills, and I think they know this too. So I am going to go with the Bills in this one. The final Monday night game, and the final game of the week, at 7:15 Central Standard Time, you got the Chicago Bears taking on the Washington Commanders. The Bears had the bye last week, coming off a massively important victory over the Raiders after the block kick. The Bears sitting at 2-2. I think the Bears look like they really, really do belong there. And the Commanders, Jaden Daniels was back, and he's ready to bring back some old memories to the old Chicago faithful. As you all know, last season, it was his Hail Mary that gave the Commanders a thrilling victory over the Bears in week, I want to say like 7 or 8 or something like that. And it's what also sent Chicago into a downward spiral. And it also is what led to the Bears eventually firing Matt Eberflus. This is different, though. The Commanders, they look a bit shaky. They did beat the Chargers last week, so that's a good sign. But the Commanders, you just never know, because they also are the team that lost to teams like Atlanta and Green Bay. The Falcons, right now, you just never know. And the Packers, that was probably the last good game Green Bay got before they started looking like a little bit of a shell of their former selves. As for the Bears, they went in the opposite direction. As they look like Caleb Williams looks like he's starting to finally settle in the Ben Johnson system. They got the bye week to really nail it down, and the Bears look ready to pounce. Could this be a revenge game for the Bears? I think so. Do I want to predict it? I'm not sure, because the Commanders look like they look like they can really take down the Bears. But the Bears are also kind of looking for revenge in tonight's game, and good on the league to schedule this on a primetime game as well. I think I am going to go with the Commanders here. It is going to be a tighter game. I don't think it's going to end on a Hail Mary this time. But hey, if the Bears win this game, they might be for real. But I am going to go Washington right now. I'm not sure how the Bears are going to look out of the bye. Because that offense did take on the Raiders and the Cowboys defenses. So this week might be a better look at how they're going to look overall. But man, if the Bears win this game, watch out. Because especially if the Lions and if every one of their NFC opponents falls, it's going to be a really interesting turn of events in the NFC North race. As for the points scored, nope. I think this could be a higher scoring game. I think I am gonna go with maybe something like 75. That sounds good. I was close last week. I predicted 60. They ended up the Jags and Chiefs ended up scoring 59. But hey, that's gonna be it for this week's predictions. I'm not doing like baseball stuff again. Although I will say hockey is back, and I'm very excited for it. But hey, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm hoping to do a lot better than 7-7-U. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching. I was sitting at like 180 subs right now. I'm very happy with that, and I'm so thankful to all of y'all who stuck around through everything and all that just to support the channel and everything that goes on here, all of my friends and whatnot. I'm eternally grateful for all of y'all, and I'm hoping to hit 200 by the end of the year. So do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the channel around. It helps me grow, and it'll really help me get to that 200 mark. And of course, join the Discord server in the link in the description, the first link. And then donate to the channel if you do so wish to. It's completely optional, and it's always appreciated. As for the schedule this weekend, I don't know when, but I am going to be planning on doing Cards Against Humanity. Probably on Sunday, I want to say, but it could be as early as Friday night. So just keep an eye on it, turn on notifications so you don't miss it. And yeah, I swear to God, if I have to go to the K-State game, watch them lose, and then come back on Sunday, watch the Chiefs lose again, I am going to lose it. But with that being said, see you later, peeps. Thanks for watching.